Yasodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yasodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kanjabi Hari Jaya Radha Madhava Kanjabi Hari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giravaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giravaradari Yasodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yasodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kanjabi Hari Jaya Radha Madhava Kanjabi Hari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giravaradari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giravaradari Yasodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yasodanandana Brajajanaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kanjabi Hari Jaya Radha Madhava Kanjabi Hari Jayam Swa Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parvajakacharya Asatar Satasi Simad Abhay Charnarvinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada Ki Jai Jayam Swa Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parvajakacharya Asatar Satasi Simad Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai Nantakoti Vaishnavinda Ki Jai Namacharya Sridhar Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shama Kun Radha Kun Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Shri Mathura Dham Ki Jai Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai Navadvip Dham Ki Jai Ganga Mai Ki Jai Yamuna Mai Ki Jai Tulasi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Srila Bhattacharya Ki Jai Samaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki Jai Gaur Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Creation, Chapter 18, Parikshit, Cursed by a Brahmin Boy. Text number 9. Upavarnatam etad va punyam parikshatam maya vasudeva kata upetam akyanam yat aprichata upavarnatam etadva punyam parikshatam maya vasudeva katopetam akyanam yad aprichata upavarnatam etadva punyam parikshitam maya vasudeva katopetam akyanam yad aprichata upavarnatam etadva punyam parikshitam maya vasudeva katopetam akyanam yad aprichata. Dhanavir Maharaj. Anyone else?
Punyang parikshitang maya vasudeva katopetam akyanang yata prichata
Upavarnitame tadva
Upavarnitame tadva
punyam parikshitam maya
Punyam parikshitam maya
vasudeva katopetam
Vasudeva katopetam
akyanam yada prichita
Upavarnitame tadva Punyam parikshitam maya Vasudeva katopetam akyanam yada prichita.
Upavarnitam etadva punyam parikshitam maya Vasudeva Katopetam Akhyanam Yat Aprichata
Upavarnit Metadva Punyam Parikshitam Maya Vasudeva Katopetam Akyanam Yada Prichita Upavarnitam Etadva Punyam Parikshitam Maya Vasudeva Katopetam Akyanam Yad Aprichita
Upavarnitam Etadva Punyam Parikshitam Maya Vasudeva Katopetam Akyanam Yad Aprichata Upavarnitam Tattva Punyam Parikshitam Maya Vasudeva Katopetam Akyanam Yad Aprichata
Upavarnatam, almost everything described. Etad, all these. Va, unto you. Punyam, pious. Prikshitam, about Maharaj Prikshit. Maya, by me. Vasudeva, of Lord Krishna. Kata, narrations. Upetam, in connection with. Akyanam, statements. Yat, what? Aprichata, you ask from me. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. O sages, as you did ask me, now I have described almost everything regarding the narrations about Lord Krishna in connection with the history of the pious Maharaj Parikshit. Purport. Srimad Bhagavatam is the history of the activities of the Lord, and the activities of the Lord are performed in relation with the devotees of the Lord. Jai C.C. Gaurnitai. Therefore, the history of the devotees is not different from the history of Lord Krishna's activities. A devotee of the Lord regards both the activities of the Lord and those of his pure devotees on an equal level, for they are all transcendental. Translation again. O sages, as you did ask me, now I have described almost everything regarding the narrations about Lord Krishna in connection with the history of the pious Maharaj Parikshit. So this conversation is taking place in the forest of Naimisharanya. In the Vayavira Tantra, it is said that once Lord Brahma contemplated a wheel encircling the entire universe, and the hub of this wheel was located in a place known as Naimisharanya. So this place is favored by the devotees, and even now you could go there. It's a very peaceful place. And Bhakti Vikas Maharaj went there and described the pastimes that are taking place there. And in this sloka, the word Vasudeva is significant. Vasudeva indicates the personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna, the son of Vasudeva. And Krishna's father, Vasudeva, it has a short A, whereas Krishna's name is Vasudeva. There's a slight difference. Krishna has a long A, and Krishna's father has a short A. And Sutta Goswami was such an intelligent spiritual master that he could memorize the entire 18,000 verses of Srimad Bhagavatam just by hearing it one time from Sukadeva Goswami. So we could just understand how vast, how powerful these sages formerly were. And they all accepted Krishna as the Supreme Lord. So by following in their footsteps, by hearing from them, we could also attain the same perfection that they had, that is pure love for the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. And Maharaj Parikshit's birth and his pastimes and his death were all very wonderful. From his very time in the womb of his mother, Uttara, he was saved by Lord Vishnu himself. Therefore, his name is Parikshit, or examiner. And in his childhood, he was engaged in worshiping the deity of Krishna. So his whole life was pious, and no sinful activities at all. So he's also, as Dr. Maharaj explained recently, Maharaj Parikshit was a Mahabhagavat, and Sukadeva Goswami was also Mahabhagavat. They're both on the same highest level of transcendence. They're pure devotees of Krishna. But voluntarily, Maharaj Parikshit agreed to become a disciple of Sukadeva Goswami. And in his earlier life, Maharaj Parikshit accepted Kripacharya as his guru. And after accepting Kripacharya as his spiritual master, Maharaj Parikshit performed 3 Asameda yajnas, 3 horse sacrifices on the bank of the Ganges. And Maharaj Parikshit married the daughter of Uttara, Ilavati, or according to some, Madravati. To this daughter of Uttara was the son of Virata. And this daughter of Uttara, Ilavati, begot 4 sons. The eldest and the most important son was Maharaj Janamejaya. And this Janamejaya, he was mortified after his father was bitten by the snake bird, Takshaka. And after the death of his beloved father, Maharaj Parikshit, Maharaj Janamejaya performed a Sarpa Yagya. A Sarpa Yagya was a great sacrifice, and the purpose of the sacrifice was to annihilate the serpents, the race of serpents, including Takshaka. And during the sacrifice, many great sages appeared from all over the universe, and Srila Vyasadeva also came to this great sacrifice. But soon afterwards, the sages stopped the sacrifice. So Maharaj Janamejaya, he's very submissive to the Brahmins and sages, so he agreed to stop the sacrifice, to kill the snakes, according to the advice of the sages. So formerly, the kings were very submissive to the Brahmins, and this is the ideal Vedic civilization. All the varnas and ashrams are meant for cooperation, because the central point was Krishna, so everybody agreed to cooperate for the satisfaction of the Supreme Lord Krishna. So when Krishna is in the center of the planet, or the center of the universe, or the center of the country, or the center of the family, everything goes smoothly. But if something else is the center, if my selfishness is in the center, then there's discord, there's disruption. So there are two kinds of selfishness: self-centered and extended. But nowadays, everybody outside of the persons who are thoroughly religious, everybody is selfish, either personally or extended selfishness. Someone may be president, but he's also selfish because his selfishness is extended. He wants to make America great again at the expense of all the other people of the world. So this is also a kind of selfishness. But the Srimad Bhagavatam is meant for those who are not selfish, not envious, the Paramahamsas. And Srila Vyasadeva compiled all the Vedic literatures, but he especially recommended this Srimad Bhagavatam as the topmost literature to be heard by one and all. And this Bhagavatam is so important because it can uproot the threefold miseries of material existence. And Maharaj Janamejaya, when he was at the Sarpa Yoga, he expressed to Srila Vyasadeva that he wanted to see his father again, even though he had passed away. And Srila Vyasadeva agreed. And miraculously, Maharaj Pariksit appeared at that sacrifice. And Maharaj Janamejaya worshipped his father along with Srila Vyasadeva with all pomp and ceremony. And everyone was satisfied at that sacrifice because Maharaj Janamejaya gave in charity profusely. This is the purpose of taxation. Taxation is not meant just to be enjoyed by the government employees, but it's meant to be redistributed to the people in general. But nowadays, although we have to pay all kinds of taxes, the people in general don't get much benefit. Most of the benefit is divided amongst the government servants. But formerly, in the Vedic civilization, it was not like that, because the taxes were meant for the performance of sacrifice. Nowadays, the prescribed sacrifice in Kali Yuga is Sankirtan Yagya. And without performance of the congregational chanting of the holy names of the Lord, without the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, without the mercy of Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Prabhu Nityananda, Sri Advaita Gadadhar, Shivastari Gaur, Bhaktivinda, no one can understand Krishna as he is. In India, there are many people who worship Krishna, but without going through the Panchatattva, they misunderstand Krishna. And then there's the recitation of Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Saptaha, Srimad Bhagavatam hearing in 7 days, but mostly the people are interested to hear the Rasa Leela. But the pure devotees of the Lord want to hear all of Krishna's pastimes, not simply Krishna's pastimes with the gopis, which are very confidential. So anything in relation with Krishna is transcendental and it's relishable for to hear. This is why these stages of Namaskharanya, in the beginning, they were neophyte devotees. But because they submissively heard, they were eager to hear, they were inquisitive to hear the pastimes of the Lord for 1,000 years. So at the end of this time, they became pure devotees themselves because they were hearing from a pure devotee like Sutta Goswami. So a pure devotee is like a touchstone. He creates other pure devotees by his association. So this is the case of the sages of Namaskharanya. And the more this Srimad Bhagavatam is passed down by disciplic succession, the sweeter it becomes. Shuka means parrot in Sanskrit. And the characteristic of a parrot is when the parrot touches a fruit, ripened fruit with its beak, that fruit becomes more sweeter, more relishable. And because Sukadeva Goswami spoke the Srimad Bhagavatam, this transcendental narration became more relishable. And the more it's passed on by the pure devotees, the more relishable this literature becomes. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also recommended the Srimad Bhagavatam as the topmost transcendental narration of the pastimes of the Lord. This is the science of God. Generally, nowadays in Kali Yuga, people are losing interest in God because they're not hearing from the proper source. So we have to hear this Srimad Bhagavatam. It comes from the proper source, and by hearing this narration of God, one can become purified in heart. Not only that, but one can become free from all the problems of Kali Yuga, and ultimately one can achieve love of God, which is the ultimate goal of life. And this is the Bhagavata Purana. This is the history. There's so many histories. If you go to any library in the world, there's many histories, thousands of books. There's Greek history, Roman history, American history. But unless these histories are in relation with God or the Lord, that they're no value to hear. And by hearing these histories, one becomes more attached to this material world. But by hearing Srimad Bhagavatam, the result is one becomes attached to the lotus feet of the Lord, and that is the highest perfection of life. And Prabhupada writes, a devotee of the Lord regards both the activities of the Lord and those of his pure devotees on an equal level, for they are all transcendental. So in other scriptures, there are descriptions of activities of Jesus Christ and Muhammad, but there is very little information about God. And this is the defect in other scriptures. But in this scripture, the Bhagavad Purana, and in Vedic literature, there's detailed information about God, what he looks like, what his activities are, what his qualities are, the glories of the God's name. All these are described in great detail in the Vedic literature. And recently, the 6 Goswamis, Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami and others, gave detailed information about how to achieve love of God. Love of God is described as the ultimate goal of life in every scripture. But how to attain that love of God is described in great detail. It's a great science. And to understand that this science is the aim of this human form of life, which is very rarely achieved. Are there any comments or questions? Yes, Prabhu. Dr. Gio.
So I was just wondering, what desires should we pray for? Can you give an example of a spiritual desire, please?
Pardon me, I didn't hear properly.
I was just wondering, what desires should we pray for? Could you please give an example of a spiritual desire?
Well, there are material desires and spiritual desires. But anyone who prays to God he's pious. He's a Mahatma, according to Bhagavad Gita. 4 kinds of pious men come to God: those who are distressed, those who desire wealth, those who are inquisitive, and those who are in knowledge. So Krishna considers all these people who come to him Mahatmas. But the pure devotees only pray for more devotional service. They don't pray for anything material. So in the beginning, most of us come to God or Krishna with many material desires. But by coming in contact with Krishna and the pure devotee, these desires are gradually purified, and there's nothing left in the heart but the desire to serve Krishna eternally without any motivation, just to give pleasure to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and Guru. Is that all right? It's time for the Sankirtan festival, and today is the last day of Chaturmasya. Today is the last day of Kartik. All glories to His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada.
Rishi Kumar, are you there?
Yeah, but the Sankirtan festival is in 6 minutes.
Well, we're starting it now.
Okay. So for this week of October 30th to November 6th, we had 7 book distributors. Haribo. So,
Here are their lordships, Sri Sri Gauranitai, Sampradaya Acharyas, Srila Prabhupada, Tulsi Maharani, all the assembled devotees and all the devotees everywhere. Go ahead.
and in 7th position with 6 small books, 3 medium books, 3 big books, and 2 Maha big books for a total of 10 points. Mathurnath Prabhu.
Haribo.
Tied for 6th position. The first one with 2 small books, 3 big books, and 5 Maha big books for a total of 12 book points. Damodar Prabhu.
Hi.
And also tied for 6th position with 1 Arabic Bhagavad Gita, 1 small book, 3 Journey of Self-Discovery, and 2 Maha big books for a total of 12 book points. Bhakta David Prabhu.
Haribo.
In 5th position with 16 small books, 2 medium books, 25 big books, and 7 Maha big books for a total of 37 book points. Krishna Bhagavan Prabhu.
Hi.
In 4th position with 5 small books, 8 medium books, 23 big books, and 6 Maha big books for a total of 41.25 book points. Bhakta Jio Prabhu.
Hi.
In 3rd position with 26 small books, 23 medium books, 27 big books, 17 Maha big books for a total of 79 book points. Magadari Prabhu.
Hi.
In 2nd position with 32 small books, 37 medium books, 64 big books, and 33 Maha big books for a total of 156.5 book points. Rishi Kumar Das.
Hi.
In 1st position with 8 Arabic small books, 1 Arabic Bhagavad Gita, 453 small books, 297 big books, 239 Maha big books for a total of 918.25 book points. Bhakta Avatar Prabhu.
Hi.
Haribo. So we will get to the total after the highlights. Is Bhakti Avatar on the Zoom? Maybe he can share how this.
No, he's not on the Zoom.
Oh,
But this
man.
was his biggest week he's had. It's his record week.
He
And-
told me that he met one boy who wants to become a brahmachari.
Jai.
Did he put him on the train or a bus yet?
Train or a bus? Oh, the boy? Not yet.
Okay.
I'll see if he can do that today.
Yeah, let him know. We can pick him up at the bus station.
Okay. Okay, I'm sending him the message. So my highlight for the week is, we went to a college and we met a lot of cool people. And one of the staff members, she came to the table and she was interested in the books, but she couldn't give a donation at that time. So she went to go get her money or whatever. And she came back maybe 40 minutes later and she couldn't get her phone to work to send a donation. She just wanted like a path of perfection. So she was trying to do that for maybe half an hour or 20 minutes and it didn't work. So she left again and went to her office. And then she came back another half an hour later. And when she came back that time, she got the donation to work. And Bhakti Gio, she kept laughing because he was like so enthusiastic the way he was distributing to people. He would give them like at least 10 compliments each. And she was laughing. And she was going to give the donation. And I told her, no one ever gave him 100. He's been trying so hard. And she was laughing. And she gave 50 or $60. So we gave her the sapta, the stack of 7 books. And it was a cool experience.
Haribo.
And here you go, my guy.
So we went to Missouri University, or Mizzou, and there we were doing a nice book table in Kirtan, Krishna's Mercy, that we were able to do that. And this gentleman came up to the area, to the spot, and was attracted to the environment and the devotees and got some books. He sat down and he was doing some silent meditation while we did the kirtans. And we ended up kind of encouraging him to chant, and we had a really nice experience with that. His name is Sean, and he took some prasadam, and that was really nice experience.
It was Columbia?
Oh, yeah, Columbia. Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai.
Hi.
Can we hear a highlight from Bhakti Gio Prabhu?
Hare Krishna. So this was, I can't remember what day it was, but we went to some sort of strip mall one day, me and Rishi, and there was this like ice cream place, and we just decided to go in, and there was this guy at the front register, and he seemed pretty cool. He had pretty cool earrings. He had a pretty cool hairstyle and stuff like that. So we went up to him, and I didn't even say anything. He was just like, "I know who you guys are," or something like that. And he was like, "I know who you guys are." He was like, "You guys are from Avatar, right?" Yeah, and he was just so enthusiastic. I barely said anything to him. I didn't even get to like tell him about the books or anything like that. But the funniest thing was he said like he said something like, "You don't know this, but I'm from the 7th dimension," and I thought that was so hilarious, so funny. And so he took us up the stack, and we got his number. His name is Ruben. And I invited him to the feast. He wasn't able to come, but one day, hopefully, he'll come. Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai.
Can we hear Krishna Bhagavan's transcendental highlight?
Yeah, Hare Krishna. Actually, Magadari stole mine. I was the one who distributed that Sean a book. Yeah. He was walking by. I gave him some books, and then I said, "Why don't you just hang?" He was kind of like hanging around Harinam. And I said, why don't you just hang around, man? You could sit here, you could meditate, you could feel out the vibe. And he was like, yeah, most definitely, most definitely. And then, yeah, he just sat down in silent meditation. And then he sat down, and I went over to the other book table, and I was there, I don't know how long, 2 or 3 hours. And then I came back, and he was still there. So I was like, whoa, he's really hanging out. So that was really encouraging. Transcendental Book Distribution, Ki Jai.
Can we hear from Bhakti David Prabhu?
Thank you. All right. On Saturday, we went to the mall and we're distributing books out there. And man, I was feeling so nervous. And Rishi did like the first one. And I was like, oh man, like this is a totally different environment. I don't know how I feel about this. And so like I watched a couple more, and then Rishi was like, why don't you go to that guy like on the bench right there? And I was like, okay, I'll do that. So like I went up to him, and I can't tell you, the first couple words that I said made like absolutely no sense at all. And like I was just fumbling all over the place. But I just like, I remember Rishi telling me, just get the book in their hands, you know, like just get the book in their hands. And so I just, even though I was stumbling, I was like, I could just get the book in their hands. Like, this is like, I'm doing this for Krishna. Like, I just got to do this. So I put the book in their hands, and I think it was a Bhagavad Gita. And then after stumbling, and I don't even know if the person knew what I said at first, it didn't matter. He had the book in his hands, and then I was kind of talking about the Gita a little bit. And then it was the first person, and he ended up taking the book and giving a donation. And that was the way it started off for me. But it was just like, it felt really great to just have that faith. And even though I was fumbling and stumbling all over my words, like just the effort was, it was shown that, you know, you just do the effort and you're going to see the result. And so that was really awesome. And that's my highlight for the week.
Haribo.
Transcendental Book Distribution, Ki Jai. Bhakti Damodar Prabhu, can we hear your ecstatic highlight? Maybe how you distributed that Saptarishi set?
Hare Krishna. So we were at the university, and I was at the table, and these two girls, they came up and they said, we're interested. I said, okay, here's the Bhagavad Gita. And they took that, and they took 2 books. And then I said, we have this one's $50. And then she pulled out 60 and then took it. And that was basically it.
Transcendental Book Distribution, Ki Jai. Maturnath Prabhu, can we hear your highlight for the week? I'm not sure if you're saying something. We can't hear. Oh,
We're not able to hear you. Are you speaking into Maharaja's wireless mic?
there might be some different setup up there now.
I don't know if it was working or if something else was working. You can hear me in the temple?
We can hear you, but we can't hear Maturanath.
Well, that means that headset that was formerly our system is not working, and mine is going directly or something. So
maybe he could speak in the temple room or on your headset.
Yeah, he'll run down to the temple room. He's on his way now.
Jai. Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama.
Thank you. Sorry for the wait. I thought Columbus was really nice. It seemed like everyone there was really ripe, ready for Prabhupada's books. I was on the Harinam mat like most of the time, 90% of the time or so. And right before cooking prasadam for Lord Krishna and his devotees, I thought I would just kind of stand by the table. And I talked to I think I talked to 5 or 6 people, and all of them took. And there was one Mataji, specifically, she was a Hindu-bodied Mataji. Her name was Kanchan, and she came up to the table and she was saying that she had been struggling with depression and anxiety due to school, and she was kind of distressed. And she was saying how she believes that Krishna is God, and she was raised, her parents have read Prabhupada's books, and she was reading Journey of Self-Discovery, like right now. That was the book she was reading. And she said she was interested in the books more, and she had just had a lot of questions. And she ended up staying for the better part of probably 2.5 or 3 hours at the spot, and she got absorbed in some kirtan. I had come back, and she had taken prasadam with the devotees, and she was asking a lot of questions. We got her some chanting beads. We took down her contact info and shared about the classes, and I gave her number to Radha Mataji, and hopefully she's been in contact with her, because she really seemed like she was sincere and ready, to make the next step in taking up some devotional service seriously. And it was amazing, because the main thing that was really like moving about this interaction was when she first came, she was totally distressed. And then she chanted with devotees and had proper association for some time. And by the time she left, she was totally like out of the funk, and all the distress had lifted. So that was very, very nice to see. Hare Krishna.
Cinema book distribution ki jai. So the total book score for Rupanuga Vedic College this week is 1,266 book points. We don't have all of the individual books added up yet. We can send it in the group just during breakfast.
Could you repeat that score for the total?
The total points is 1,266 book points.
Cinema book distribution ki jai.
Jai.